I hear you now. Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna check this real quick. Okay, yep, that seems to be working. All right, welcome to the third issue of the Virtuosos for the Gauntlet Games uh, Spectaculars game session. This is the second comic we've been working on. The uh, muster ups being the other one. I'm Michael Matthews. Pronouns are he and him. I will be being narrator for this one. Like always, the Gauntlet inclusivity policy is in effect. Anybody is able to X card either through a physical X in the video window or the chat. The one in Roll20 at least gives the beep, so it's a little easier quickly if you've got that. And if we want to go down and Lexi, Michael, and then Pearl introduce yourselves.
Just myself or my character too?
Let's do both.
Sure. So I'm Alexi, pronouns he, him. Follow my gaming endeavors online at Cloven Pine Games. That's at Cloven Pine Games on Twitter and on Itch.io, where I just put up some new games, including one about being an amnesiac Black Ops assassin, trying to recover your memories and outrun your past. In this game, I am playing Thea Zhang, aka Thunderclap. She is an inventor and most specifically a hacker who's gotten a hold of an Omni device, which is an alien pair of alien gauntlets called the Ambi gloves that have a vast array of powers built into them that she's still trying to fully uncover and control. Um, but in the meantime, she's been working with the Virtuosos, the coolest, snazziest group of superheroes around. And her ambition ultimately is to use these ambigloves to punch through the walls of reality to get to another dimension. And the sort of only cloud in this sky, right? The turmoil that she has is that her hacker friend Answer, spelled 4N5W3R, thinks the agency, the government body that the Virtuosos have entered into a partnership with, thinks the agency is corrupt and oppressive, creating superpowered beings to use them as a disposable labor class. So she's got to deal with that, and she doesn't believe this crazy conspiracy theory, but her friend Answer is really pushing for it. So anything else we need to know about Thunderclap, or is that good to go?
That sounds pretty good.
All right.
For Michael.
All right, hi. My name is Mike. You can use he, him pronouns for me. I am. I don't really have any big gaming projects yet, although I'm getting something together. In the meantime, my Twitter handle is mmdozer. I'll be playing Daniel Judkins, aka Magnetar. He is basically a powered armor suit pilot, and he is an investor and a test pilot for the corporation's Sani Lebedev in their pioneering in technological enhancement of soldiers. The company came together after the Niner biological process started showing negative side effects, and they're basically trying to fill in the gap that opened up in the armed forces' ability to field soldiers with superhuman abilities. My particular suit is equipped with magnetism powers, an energy blast, and protection, as well as mechanical strength. Its primary weakness is that its energy supply is limited, and I imagine, especially if he starts using that magnetism power, it could burn through pretty quickly. His characteristics are obsessive and optimistic, both of which are very important if you're actually test driving your own inventions. Although I think we established that he's not an engineer by trade. He's just basically someone with a lot of money who basically bought his way into being a superhero. I think those are. Oh, and also his he's trying while he's trying to he's basically on the team for the promote as a promotional stunt and to get to try to secure basically get business on military contracts. The one downside of the technology is that it can have bad neurological side effects. So they're still trying to work that out, even though they might be eliminating the physical side effects of power enhancement. The neurological ones remain to be seen.
I guess that brings us to me.
Yep.
Hello, I'm Pearl Zare. I use she and her pronouns. This is a time of day that I did not previously think actually existed. And yet somehow I am here. It is probably the magic power of my character, who is a golem. I'm going to introduce him in character in a second, but I just wanted to give a quick note that he has a generic old country accent that is not meant to emulate any specific Eastern European accent, so please don't get offended. It would be much more offensive if I actually tried to do a specific one, I promise. Anyway, let me introduce you to him. He needs his own introduction. So, hello, I am Chaim Weinblatt, golem. I am made from mud and clay by a rabbi many years ago in Old Country. Before he unfortunately passed on, he gave me one final instruction to carry out Tikkun Olam, the mandate for all the Jewish people to heal the world. And so for hundreds of years, I do good, and then I discover virtuosos. They do good all the time. And when they don't, I go to Italian restaurant. But some people feel a little bit intimidated because I am 9-foot clay creature. So I wear hat to show them I am just like anyone else, only more mud and clay. So I have many powers to help. I mostly impossible to destroy unless you have a lot of water. Then I am puddle of mud. But I reform into me after a while. And I'm very excited to be here with many good superheroes. They are do good work in the world. And I think that is all. I like lasagna. Yes. Good to meet you.
Excellent. Do we want to do a quick recap of what had happened last week?
I could do that. So, I guess it stems off the first issue when the team fought a bunch of cyborgs and hacked one of the cyborgs into discovering that they are connected to some kind of alien egg-shaped artifact that is that would be taking place within a few days. I think the hacked information located the impending attack to be centered on the stadium. For the second issue, we had Magnetar and your bud made of mud, as well as Tech Dance. That was the roster for last week. Let's see. Oh yes, Tech Dance made a nice appearance on the Late Night with the Stephen Colbert show. Your bud made of mud secured, kind of intimidated the aforementioned Italian restaurant into donating food to a children's shelter.
And I had some lasagna.
Yes,
they were very nice.
And he discovered lasagna. Oh, I don't know if you discovered lasagna, but you discovered their lasagna. Magnetar met with who did I meet with? Well, I had a meeting with a big high-ranking general who was a former investor in Saini Lebedev and was very skeptical and disapproving of Magnetar in general. General Erickson, that's what it was. So we started the session. We started the session at our headquarters, which is a nice California mansion that Tech Dance was nice enough to provide to the team. We decided to take our investigate the cyborgs on our own to try to get an energy reading off of it, so and hopefully be able to track the alien artifact that was on its way. We met with the name is Kashgari, but I the first name escapes me.
Musin, M-U-S-N.
Oh, Musin, thank you. Who is the head of R&D at the agency? Let's see. Oh, your bud made of mud tried to rearrange it to rearrange his pliable face to look like Brad Pitt. That was good fun.
I'm still working on it.
She also I guess we got examined some footage from the escape of one Alicia Bennett, who was a former agency agent who had apparently gone rogue and also started exhibiting strange, seemingly supernatural abilities that were previously unknown. The sigils that she generated while employing her powers were actually recognized by your bud made of mud, and that gave us an ominous hint at the scope of that rogue agent's abilities. Okay, so we study the cyborgs, and then one of them starts convulsing and activates. And then we Tech Dance senses a big power surge at the stadium. Apparently that seemed to have been the event that we had found out about before. That's where a mystical machine appeared with the egg inside. Very inconveniently, appearing 20 minutes before a big game was going to start. So that's when we all headed out to try to neutralize the situation. Let's see. Yes, we get in the big cyborg fight, and eventually we do end up neutralizing the egg. Yes, Magnetar and Tech Dance use their abilities to pin down.
Excuse me, who has grabbed the egg?
And wipe out the cyborgs.
And who wiped out the egg?
I was just getting to it. Your bud made a bud, ran up and grabbed the egg, and also noted some weird whispering emanating from an unrecognizable language emanating from the artifact.
And seismic pound.
Oh, right. Oh, that I did forget. So thank you for reminding me for that. Yes, he also kicked in a really awesome seismic attack. I think he did. Were you the one who finally took out who put down all the cyborgs? Was that the final move on those enemies?
I think all but two. I jumped up, became very large, then became very dense boulder, and smoosh.
Yes,
seismic
right.
thing. They all go down.
Yeah, I can't
Good to have Golem on team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, how could I skip over awesome details like that? So the egg was still retained its power, but was stabilized. And Tech Dance wanted to study the egg. Maybe that's why she's not here at this session. And then we got to define our super science agency lab. It being a front for an outside force, that being my company, Saini Lebedev. It's a government contractor located in a downtown skyscraper that specialized in theoretical technology and field testing. Yes, Musin Kashgari is the R&D director there, and this lab also employs some field testers who, incidentally, at least who are powered, and at least some of them are also gathering intel on the lab for some unknown force. There's a lot of factions congregating in this super scientific agency lab, and I think that was the last thing we had done in the last session.
It's jaw-dropping how good you are at notes.
I take notes.
Oh my! I wish you could come in for a day just to teach my students. Here's how to take notes and pay attention.
I added an abbreviated version of that to the publication history doc, so that it's all
awesome.
there for Virtuosos issue number 2.
Well, thank you. I forgot to update that at the end of the last game.
No worries. Now it's updated.
Edit out. All right.
Alexi, I think your video is frozen. Just so you know.
Okay, I can probably fix that. 1 sec.
Or he's turned psychic on it.
Can you see me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, the one thing before we kind of get into the stuff, do you want to choose your team roles for this session?
Sure.
Yeah. So with this setup of folks, I think that my inclination, please jump in if I'm overstepping here, but my inclination is that Thea believes she is the leader. When the team is like this and we don't have Princess Shafana, Thea thinks, all right, then I guess I'm in charge.
Sounds good to me.
Nice. And Michael, with a little more understanding of some of the mechanics of the game, I think I'm actually gonna give up one of my minor powers here just to have more hero points. Is that a thing is that a call I can make?
Yeah, it's particularly as you're starting to get to know how stuff works.
Yeah. So I think I don't need signature weapon as much as I just want some more hero points some of the time.
You have Golem. That is signature weapon.
There we go.
Throw the golem at it.
Many uses.
Fastball special.
Okay. And what did everyone else do? Are you saying the ones you had last time, or did you want to go with something different?
I'll stay with controller.
I think it's natural for me to be tank.
All right. You also just go in and remove the signature weapon on my other information sheet.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it fairly quick to go through and reset people up. So we've got still with controller and tank. Cool. All right. So, we will start off with your essentially with your aspiration or turmoil scenes. We'll begin with Magnetar, Daniel Judkins. Now, what the neural side effects are part of the how the thing hooks into your mind?
Yes, and also I think there may also be side effects just from the whatever energy matrix the machine creates. It's since this is supposed to be since this technology is supposed to replicate the Niner powers, I'm thinking that ultimately this energy this technology doesn't just do magnetism, but can theoretically do recreate all kinds of superpowered phenomena. Yep. And it might be that's also causing the potential neurological problems. I don't know if there's a real like AI link. Like my suit, for example, does not have like a nifty AI assistant. So, but then again, maybe that would be why. Yeah, there probably would be some kind of connection, especially if there's not an assistant, because you're the one who has to issue all the commands. So yeah, let's just go ahead and say that there's some kind of it's that link that could be the problem. Okay, that is basically the interface. Yeah.
And does this affect you when you're outside of the suit as well?
Not yet.
Okay,
I think that yeah.
Then what we'll probably want to find for you is that's an interesting thing to have character wise, but a different turmoil. Because part of the turmoil is stuff you're doing how it affects your sort of regular life.
Happens during action stuff. Okay. So it's supposed to be. I see what you're saying. Yeah, well, in that case, maybe I am starting to. We could say that maybe I am starting to feel the effects. Or do you want me to just create an entirely new?
Either one. The biggest thing with the aspirations of turmoils are looking to give personal scenes that take place often before you leap into the issue proper. Because the issue propers here tend to be like kind of older school in the style, where once it starts going, it goes relatively quick, and while I'm slowing it down some so we can do more role play stuff in it, it's actually not. It seems like it's been not a bad way to sort of begin some of the sessions with kind of looking at the characters' regular life, the things that they do when they're not like directly in action.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what would be a good way, the best way to do this. I mean, one of my selected character traits is obsessive. So if you just want to, I don't know, if we just want to illustrate a scene where maybe his I'm trying to think of how that could be how that could be parlayed into a turmoil.
If you want to, I can do another scene if you want to think it over.
Yeah, if you could, please. I think I could use that.
In that case, let's go with Thea. So I know last time we did the turmoil scene with Answer, but this time, tell me about the ways in which you try to punch through to another dimension. What are the things that you've been doing to try to explore that?
Yeah, I think she's found that the ambi gloves just seem to function slightly differently in different parts of the city and the world, where like something about elevation and climate and distance from the magnetic poles and maybe position of the stars, all these factors seem to affect what powers the gloves have. And so to kind of try to find, to try to like understand everything the gloves can do and find where it is that they'll unlock some of their dimension punching secrets, which she's sure that they have. Maybe she's like trekked up into like the mountains, somewhere else in California, not too far from the cities, but there's panels in the comic of like the like landscape and the trees, and then a panel of like birds just freaking out and flying away from a particular spot, because we see Thea is there and has like set up a little like mobile lab, and is like, all right, test number 47 for dimension punch.
Okay. So you're sitting there and you're looking out over like the plateau or the scenery that stretches before you.
Yeah.
So with that, are you does it go against the air itself? Just sort of just like literally just punch through the air and such in front of you somehow to make it rip through?
I think I probably have let's say I've got a little device that just like projects some kind of visual onto the air, because I think like somehow that like visualizing something that I really want to punch, it will like help with this dimension punch. So maybe there's a little hologram. Let's see, what does Thunderclap definitely want to punch?
Nice. Sophomore year algebra teacher.
Yeah, it's a hologram. It's a hologram of an old teacher, and there's even a little audio, right? And saying, Ms. Zhang, if you don't learn to apply yourself, for all your genius, nothing will ever become of you without discipline. And I'm like, yeah, discipline this.
Okay, so there's this weird moment where it feels almost like when you're in the presence of the egg again for like just a moment, as things just stretch, and then you're almost like sort of back in that area, like you're back in that sort of classroom. This happened. Everything is sort of frozen, and you're floating kind of around. Like you can see you, um, the younger version of you. You see the teacher, kind of like you said, was yelling at you about not using your potential and such. You can see all of that as there's this kind of weird moment where just like, you're there, and then it just almost slams you back into yourself for a second.
That's unusual, says the thought balloon.
That hasn't happened before. Um, so this, and then the part of this, do you end up trying it again?
I'm gonna. I want to look at the gauntlets and poke at them a little, see if any of the bits I've started to understand like picked up some kind of a strange signal here and could elucidate what just happened to me.
Okay. That seems like. Maybe in this case, could be using a computer roll. Go ahead and add 2 complication dice to.
Great, great. All right, so I'm rolling. It's not too bad because use a computer is 90% because I'm a hacker. But I'm going to put 2 challenge dice into the pool and then navigate to where that happened. I rolled a 20 with 1 drawback here.
And I can't remember if you were here. I redid the drawback and then the nothing stuff to make those hopefully a little clearer.
I can see what they're doing now. Excellent.
Yeah, so there's this moment you're kind of looking it over, and there is a number of things sort of happen in there. There's you mentioned some things like the where the stars and such will make a bit of a difference. Like it seems like it's tapping into and as weird as it sounds, it almost seems like there's a little bit of a maybe a magical or at least pulling some energy from there. And as it sort of happens again, like you get this really intense feeling of being watched.
I like to spin around and like look through the clearing. Hello?
You look through the clearing and you see kind of like sort of in the distance there's against one of the rock you see it's hard to tell the symbols from a distance, but you've at least seen some video and such of them before. There's a woman who's standing almost like half in, half out of this portal in the rock itself, and she's just kind of like giving you kind of a bit of a look.
How far away from me is she? Does she seem to be like? Is she within like distant? Is she close enough that I could sprint over to her, or is it further away than that?
It's decently far away. I mean, we're talking maybe 30 yards away. Yeah, she just kind of like cocks her head and sort of looking at you a little bit.
This feels like enough of a invasion of privacy by someone who's looking mighty suspicious that I'm going to go ahead and just bring those gauntlets together and clap at her to send a shockwave her way to stun her so that she's not, because I know, or at least I know the tropes of magic portals. I don't want her to just disappear on me because this is a big mystery that I'm grabbing a thread of here. It feels like.
Yeah, as you hit the shockwave, if you're cool with it, we'll not have you roll on this one because this is part of this is she'll be coming into it a bit later.
Okay.
But yeah, as it sort of hits her and knocks her back through it, you can kind of see past through, and there's like she's in a living room, and as you're looking out over it, it's looking out over like a sea. You can kind of see a little bit from these like large sliding glass doorway. However, it's daytime here. It's like middle of the night wherever she's at.
But does the so I do knock her back, but like through the portal.
Yeah, like she's not, but you can sort of still see her. She sort of hits, and as she's coming up, you can see the runes and stuff starting to appear around her hands again, and the portal itself is starting to close up.
I run over I run towards it to see if I can get to it before it closes.
Okay. We'll say basically it's kind of close, like getting closer and closer as you get there. It's relatively small and it's just sort of hanging in the air. And she's like, "You're astrally projected for just a moment.
I what now?
You astrally projected for just a moment back to the past. I
How?
felt."
What? What? How? Wait. Why? Who?
Just sort of smiles and she's like, is your actual name well known, or is it just Thunderclap for most people? Do you hide your identity, or
Good question. I think I don't particularly hide my identity.
so? Yeah, because a lot of most supers are we have a couple exceptions here, are like the Niners, so people would know from those things. But yeah, so those are just like, interesting, Thea. You and yours should look into it. Magic starting a bit of a resurgence. Then it and then disappears. So, I'm gonna go ahead and deal you a continuity token,
Yeah, I'll take a continuity token.
and the other thing you'll end up getting is you also get to mark one experience. So on your sheet, these are where it says story progress. You get to kind of put an X in the next box. So like once you have 4 of those, you get the first story reward, and then it's like 5 each for the next 2, and then a little bit more for those next ones after that.
Okay, so I get I mark a story reward in the aspiration section.
Yeah, it's like right below those.
Oh, gotcha. Got it. It's story reward generically.
Mhm.
So I'm marking my second box here.
Yep, and like the book's got a bunch of story reward things that can be used. And essentially, for the continuity tokens, lets you create like a flashback, which can give you information, advantage dice, challenge dice for the enemies, find out about weaknesses, learn more information, or you can also do a retcon, a new bit of information.
Sorry, I lost you for a minute there.
Yeah, so the continuity token lets you do a retcon where you can go back and get new information about setting elements, characters, villains, teams, enemy groups, new things that are going to be true in the world from now on. Can often give you a bit of edge or help out of difficult situations. You can also do flashbacks to get more information, things that give you advantage dice, give villains challenge dice, know more about weaknesses, things along those lines.
I like it. Cool. Thank you.
Cool. And your bud made a mud. So last time you got to threaten a Menechis, poor Gaetano, came there to make sure that they're taking their food to the shelter. So that was, I think, part of your aspiration about healing the world.
Yes.
And for your turmoil, what is something that Chaim has to work with and deal, like that becomes their sort of one of their sort of signature problems?
I think probably that general population thinks Golem are a monster.
Mm-hmm. So do you,
even with hat?
Yeah. Do you go out into the general population often?
Not really. Disguise only works so well, but for the children, I will go, or lasagna, or both.
Okay. Yeah. So, is there a particular place that you would want to have Chaim go to, or dealing with the public, or do you want me to create something?
Well, I promised that I would go check on the children's place to make sure that they were still helping the children and still sending the food. I said I would be watching, as I recall, and that
Okay.
if they did not continue the good works, that I would have to have a word with what was it? Not
Miniatures?
Miniatures. So, if they are not doing what they need to do in terms of taking care of the children, we might need to have an encounter. Given
Okay.
that the rest of my team seems to be off doing things that they should not do without Golem, because Golem know about Sigil, because Golem hundreds of years old and knows the magic.
So are you checking like to see the delivery actually take place uh at the children's home?
Yeah, you have to kind of imagine. I will have like a little thing here. You have to imagine this is lasagna, or it doesn't work. But if the children were to look out the window, this is what they see. So that
So
is how I check on the children.
yeah, so it's that evening they're coming, they're bringing, and you've noticed, um, like someone comes to the trash. There are a number of Menechie's takeout boxes that have been put there, and the car pulls up, and this woman comes out. Some other people coming and grabbing some food. You see some of the kids, um, and she and Gaetano are talking really closely. Like they seem to have hit it off relatively well. And when the kids come up, you do hear one of them go, "That pasta again?" As they're bringing the stuff in, and he mentions like, "Oh, I brought." He's Gaetano's talking about bringing some other stuff to there, and you can kind of look in, and you're seeing the kids. Some coming down for dinner, others studying, working, playing, and then you hear behind you and like several feet below. Holy shit!
Everyone is below Golem, so
More below
hello?
than normal. Yeah, it's
Hello?
you look down there's a kid who's sitting there. He's actually right now got his because there's it had rained earlier and there's still some mud between himself and it looks like a window he was probably going towards. Like he'd removed his shoes at one point, so the shoes don't have mud on them. His feet right now are a little bit caked. As he's going, he was basically heading through the bushes, going back towards the thing, and just looks up at you and is just like, he's maybe 12 years old.
Hello, child. Hello. I see you also have the mud.
Yeah. Oh, I'm in trouble, aren't I?
No, it's good. I have mud. You have mud. We are the same. Only I am big and you are small.
Yeah. Are you going to attack us?
No. I am cause of bring pasta. Pasta for children is good. Children should not be hungry. Have you read? Have you been studying Torah?
Studying the what?
The Torah. I tell you all the laws of the people, and it tell you don't let the children go hungry.
Oh, that's yeah, no.
That's okay. That's okay. You enjoy pasta, study Torah later.
Okay. So at this point, because what I'm assuming you probably don't want is this kid freaking out.
Yeah.
Like, so it looks like this doesn't really count as a lie to someone because like you're a remarkably honest golem.
It's true.
So what I would do is I would go ahead and make a roll. So probably your anything else, so like a 50% or below. But add 2 advantage dice because there's a chance he saw you on television.
Okay.
And add 1 disadvantage dice because you're a big, huge, scary golem.
Okay.
And Alexi's, yours was partly because when you mentioned the magical stuff, I was like, oh, someone's watching. Do they notice what's going on?
So 2 advantage dice, you said?
Yep, and then 1 disadvantage.
And 1 disadvantage. I got 53 with 1 boon and 1 drawback, so
Okay.
I guess they cancel each other out.
Yep, so those cancel each other out. Yeah, so he's just kind of backs up a little bit, again, a little bit wide eyed, and then like just turns and sort of sprints away.
I can easily follow him.
Do you?
I don't know if that's a good idea, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Okay.
I can. I don't be afraid. See, hat is good, and like you, I fell in mud, and I am sports ball player. That is why I am large. No need for panic.
Okay, so as he's started running across, are you catching up with him, or are you just staying a little bit
Yeah,
behind?
it takes me like 3 strides to
Okay.
catch up with a kid.
So
I'm 9 feet tall.
yeah, are you stopping him, or are you like kind of going beside him, or
I've
grabbing
gotten
him?
to the point of being beside him, and now I am pretending to jog, even though I'm essentially walking.
Okay, and he just kind of looks like falls back and sort of is just crawling backwards. Like, help! There's a thing! It's a thing! There's a thing!
No, I've heard of the thing. Thing is orange.
At which point,
I am mud.
Yeah, at which point Gaetano sees you. Well, kid, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And then the woman who was talking with screams when she's.
Oi.
And the Gaetano's like, it's
Very
cool, it's cool,
Bizmir.
it's cool. Kind of like just goes over and it's like, it's cool. This is one of the virtuosos. See the news? See them on TV? And the kid kind of wide eyed heads back. The woman comes, kind of grabs him, runs back in, takes him in. The Gaetano just sort of looks up and goes, "Well, said you'd be watching."
And I was watching very inconspicuous, just eyes only, but he snuck up on me.
Well, that's going to be easy to do. That's like a 13, 12-year-old kid or something. You're a 9-foot tall thing.
I see you are keeping the bargain, though, so I do not need to check up as often. Won't be too much problem.
Oh, no, it's he kind of looks back as the woman kind of pokes her head out and just goes, "I should probably thank you, actually." But no, it's good. It's good.
You are make bride of woman, yes?
Not going that far.
It comes. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Do you have any of the lasagna?
I got it. I've probably got some. And he goes in and kind of grabs, I think, lasagna and brings it to you.
I will take lasagna and find him. Thank you. I am
Careful.
sorry I frightened the child.
Like, be careful around kids, or get yourself a little more famous or something.
I will wear Hawaiian shirts. Next time is better.
Big shirt.
I need team, but team is gone to do things. They don't take me with them. They leave me here.
Well, if you ever want to do something less terrifying, stop by the restaurant sometime.
I don't think to work in restaurants is less terrifying for the people, but I appreciate the offer.
Kind of chuckles a little bit and nods and head. And as he's heading back, he's like, "It's okay. He's cool." And he's like, "You saw him on the things."
Shalom. Study Torah. Eat lasagna.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Mike's character in the first series runs a restaurant. Okay, so in that one, I think you already still have the continuity token. So yeah, you would get that one because each time those kind of end up getting turned in. Since you failed the roll, you don't get the story rewards check. But then Daniel, you figured out a.
Yeah, so I think I want to continue. I think I'm going to work off the narrow interface thing. I was just doing some quick Google searches on electromagnetism and neurology, and I'm thinking that maybe we could work a scene where he's noticing that he's starting to experience some negative side effects, and they could be anything from like experiences of fear or nightmares to even hallucinations, or we could even kick it super heroic drama style and follow the example of Dr. Polaris, who was I think he was a Green Lantern villain who actually went evil because he was experimenting with magnetism and had developed like an alternate evil personality in his head, and that's why he became a supervillain. I don't think I want to go that far, but I don't know. I think that I feel like once Daniel starts noticing that he's starting to experience some kind of like negative neurological effects, he'd basically go into obsessive mode and basically just try to recalibrate himself as if he were another machine in order to fix that. So I don't know if any of that inspires any thoughts for what we could do for a terminal soon, but that's what I'm.
What is something that Daniel would be doing that he would want to go very well with people that maybe don't know him already?
Oh well,
blind date.
Well, we could do a blind date if we want to like get into his personal life. We could also.
Can I have set up the blind date somehow, because that would make it extra hilarious.
Well, I think the jury has spoken. Let's go with a blind date.
Okay, who have you set Daniel up with?
I think last time I was at Minichie's.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I keep messing up the name. I asked if the person that I am convinced is going to be the bride of Giacomo?
Gaetano.
Oh, yeah,
Gaetano. Sorry,
Gaetano,
very sleepy. That the person who is going to be the bride of Gaetano might have a sister, and I have a friend who is in need of bride.
Someone from like the first issue or something because I missed the first session now. Oh,
what she's talking about is Gaetano is the person at the restaurant that she threatened.
Oh,
and
okay.
So it's the girl that he's talking about that he met there. So the sister or her sister.
I see.
And
does she work at the restaurant?
No, I'm assuming that that he met the sister, the original sister, elsewhere, and she was coming by the restaurant.
Okay. Either way, I figure the restaurant where her brother works probably isn't going to be a great place for a blind date.
Probably not, especially because sometimes there's a golem around.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I'll probably. First of all, what's her name?
Sharon Ravenwood.
Sharon Ravenwood.
I love me name.
Mm-hmm. So I think I'll take her someplace, probably someplace flashy and Trend City, for cocktails, and then let's see what will be a good. It's been so long since it's been a while since I've been on a date. What I guess like certainly a blind date. But trying to think of where we go afterwards. But maybe we just want to start with the cocktails and see where it goes from there.
Yeah. So does she know what you actually do, or do you say other things?
No, she knows. I don't think I keep it. I don't think I'd keep a secret identity since I'm here to promote the company, or I'm a virtuoso to promote the company anyway.
Okay. Yeah. So you're having drinks. What should she do for the opinions?
We could draw from the deck.
You could draw from the background deck, right? Or the identity deck, I guess.
Oh, true. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. I hadn't thought about that.
You could also just go with the generic rom-com employment of architect.
Well, if How I Met Your Mother didn't ruin that one. The drawing from the deck's an excellent idea. I don't know if I want to go with politician. Politician? That actually could be interesting.
Yeah, maybe like local politics, or I guess we're in a city, but
yeah, San Francisco.
Councilwoman for a particular ward, right?
Or maybe
I don't know how San Francisco works.
Keep a staff or a politician. That way, there's at least.
Well, I think
I could be either way.
It'd be interesting. I think she's a
I mean, I could see my character wanting to get involved. Okay.
A councilwoman for the ward. Yeah, so she's at drinks, and she's like, I'm just trying to figure out how my sister, who works in a children's home and is now dating a guy who owns an Italian restaurant, happens to know one of the virtuosos.
Oh well, we do a lot of like community support work, and one of my other teammates has done a lot of has formed a partnership with a restaurant to form a food drive for one of the local children's shelters.
Oh, the princess?
The other one. No, the golem.
The big giant one.
That's right. That's him.
Works. Okay.
He's a bud. What can I say? He's a bud.
He goes, that's kind of an interesting thing. And as you're sort of speaking, there's a moment where like your HUD sort of appears in your vision for a moment.
Okay.
Which it shouldn't, because you're not plugged into it right now.
Right. Oh.
Because it fades after sort of a second. What we'll kind of do here is, do you want her to know that you're having a little bit of weird flashes?
I think what he will do is if he thinks I think he's gonna suspect right away that there's he may be having a neurological event, and I think he'd like just basically hone in on it like full bore and just like almost like ignore her to the point where, you know, just to focus on this, and he try to treat his current condition, because as an obsessive, I imagine he's not going to. He may not even have the personal etiquette to even say, "Please excuse me for a moment." And he might actually just kind of latch onto that and try to see if there's any way you can figure out what's going wrong. Although I'm trying to figure out how he would approach that, because it only happens the once, right?
Yeah, we'll say there's kind of that once where it sort of hits, and as she's talking about like kind of being like politician, the council ward stuff, and as it pops back up and immediately picks some people out as like enemies, like the kind of the stuff that would appear, just some random people there, but it's kind of like blinking a little bit. You're just
is it picking her up at all?
I mean, it's picking her up the same way it's picking up everybody like it would normally, but she's not showing up as like an enemy or anything.
Okay. I immediately start trying to like look at them and trying to figure out what I can tell about them to see what could be making them my enemy.
Okay. So are you just staring at people there?
Yes.
Yeah. So she's like, you're kind of like trying to figure it out, and she kind of looks. She's like, "You okay? Do you know that guy?"
I don't, but he's kind of a dick. Was I able to discern any? Can I do a read the situation? Can I? No. Would that be read the situation, or that'll be size someone up, right?
Well, probably in this case more analyze data, because like the stuff that's appearing, it shouldn't be. You're not hooked into the stuff right now. It could be.
Oh, sorry. I've got a cat. I'm tending to a cat. I'm here.
Yeah. So it has to be more like analyze data, because you're trying to figure out how this is happening.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm not necessarily even like focused on them. I'm just focused on the situation. Mm-hmm. Okay. On the phenomenon. Okay. So that'll be like what are my dice on this one?
Yeah. So I would just go ahead and make the roll. Give yourself one advantage and one disadvantage die.
Okay. And see. Oh, okay. Well, I generated a 74. I don't think that'll quite.
Yeah. So as you're kind of you're going through like the rest of the evening, it's just you're trying to sort of figure this stuff out. There's a point. It's weird because it's some sort of after effect or something, but it seems at times active and it's kind of fading in and out. There's a point where she just kind of looks at you and she goes, "Are you okay? You seem really distracted."
Oh, I have to confess, I am. experiencing something. I'm just having some echo imagery from the Magnetar interface. I'm quite sorry. It's just it's it was just
We
it's
try
just
this another time when you're not.
it's bleeding into my my vision, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, you're yeah, so yeah, but I get what you're saying about the about having the rezoning issue in regards to the Niners and the fact that they're I'm just kind of like, correct me if I'm straying off of what
Oh no,
you envisioned for the campaign
no,
setup, but I'm kind of envisioning that about having to redistrict around the Niner district, since it's I was kind of wondering if like maybe it currently, like, I don't know, is it within its own district, or is it like kind of, does it like cross like city district ward lines?
it's on the Alameda Island. It's basically been turned into its own thing.
Oh, okay.
At least unofficially.
I got you. But he just kind of alludes to what hopefully that is what in fact she was talking about most recently. If not, then he's in big trouble.
Okay. Yeah, and she is actually kind of amazed that you seem to be doing this and also listening as it's going. And so like the rest of the night kind of continues. The flashes happen another time or two. That sounds like probably a good way to cut to all y'all together. So at this point, do we want to go ahead and start with all of you together, or do we want to take like a quick bio break first?
Bio break sounds good.
Okay.
Take a bio break, and then we can all meet at the Virtuoso Mansion.
Awesome.
What
5 minutes?
are we taking? 5?
5:10. Okay.
All right.
5. Cool.
Is better, yes? I almost wore a large hat with flowers, but I thought this was more beach-like, yes? I am average beachgoer. Everyone will believe.
Right. So I believe we're calling it's the Virtuoso Veranda.
Virtuoso Veranda. That's our headquarters.
So at this point, you've got the other members of the team are doing some of their own stuff. Some of them are with friends or family. You may even have a few that are sort of down at the Lebedev doing some work. But right now, it's the three of you that are there in case something ends up happening in the city. And unfortunately, it's often a fairly quiet time in the city. This is roughly the next day from what had happened with y'all the nights before. The previous scenes. Did any of you mention any of the stuff that happened to you?
Yeah, I've probably like called folks to my lab if you guys think your characters would come and come at Thunderclap's invitation there.
Sure.
Golem always does what is told by superior.
And the lab I'm thinking is just like a part of the veranda, that's been a little bit given over to Thunderclap for her all of her tinkering and research into these ambigloves. And she says, "Thanks for meeting with me, Virtuosos. I know I'm in charge while Tech Dance isn't here, but I really appreciate your cooperation. And I was just trying to punch through the dimensional barrier recently, and this magic lady was staring at me, spying.
Was lady making sigil on wall?
She nods and she pulls out like a dry erase marker and
No.
starts like
No, very dangerous.
drawing sigils onto the board. She's
No.
like, "Yeah, I was hoping you could maybe recognize one of these."
I'm like wiping off all the sigils. Very dangerous sigil.
How? If I can't draw them, how am I supposed to show you what they looked like?
I saw she was at stadium, and she make all the sigil from many culture, and they are not good sigil.
How are you so sure that there's only one woman in the world who can use sigils? That's a little bit sexist, if you ask me, Mudman.
I mean, I don't think there are men either. Also, I am not person, so gender is irrelevant to me. But
Thunderclap's expression softens, and she puts a hand on your shoulder. And she's like, "Don't let anyone tell you you're not a person."
Oh, this is why this is best team, huh? He's gonna Haim like wraps you a giant golem hug.
Oh,
that like engulfs all of you basically.
Easy there, Tough Mudder.
Right. Sorry, I have feeling and I express, but sigils of this sort, that many from many culture, very hard to learn them all. Not very many people or even Golem would know so many, but to combine all of these sigil, I do not recommend.
So you think the lady sneaking a peek at my highly important experiments is the same person you guys ran into at the stadium with some magic what's some Medusa going on?
Well, we could have you have you taken a look at Alicia Bennett's file to see if it was the same person?
Let me do that right now. And I beep beep beep, right? Type it in, pull up the file to see if see if I recognize the headshot.
Yep, it's definitely her.
What do we know about her?
Well, she was a big agency agent, so that's not good. So she's going to have like pretty deep knowledge of how the agency operates.
Her power was hypercognition.
If there are more, we are doomed. So I say we assume there is one and we thwart this one, because if there are more, we doomed anyway. So
yeah, we've got to capture her so we can learn about all this knowledge that she's gained and unlock new fields of discovery.
It's true. Last week I watched Dr. Weird, I think, and this was similar situation.
Yeah, but hope that's just a movie. You can't trust that for an accurate depiction of the superheroic world.
No, I know. I was explaining movies.
Hollywood always exaggerates these things.
I'm just saying, if she is like the Dr. Weird and there are whole group, we might as well retire.
So how do we track her? Do you have an idea of starter grade? Oh, I'm sorry. Magnetar, are you armored people look alike to me?
That's armorist. Okay, no, he doesn't say that. Well, we can't just get her energy reading off of her old sigils like we were able to do with the cyborgs. I think it's safe to say if she appeared, she's got to be monitoring all of us at this point. She's probably monitoring the entire agency at this point, so she could be watching any of us.
If she comes back, I will break off hunk of shoulder and throw mud in face. Good distraction. You tie up. We've got.
I'm not just gonna sit here and wait for her to poke her nose in again. We need to hunt her down, right?
And about this point is a good point for the alarm goes off. The one that lets you know that there's the alert that there is something that is needed, and immediately on your phones there is essentially a group call coming from Teresa Longstreet, who is a police captain who has a basic ways of getting in touch with you if things are
Hold that thought, Virtuosos. It's the fuzz. Hey, Teresa, what's up?
Yeah, so right now we're in. Oh, let me double check the city scene. Start with this. I don't think we came up with a name for a government building. What will be a good name for a government building that will be important?
Probably not the Conclave, but that would
amuse
me if it were.
The Cornerstone?
Okay. So Cornerstone has got a lot of you essentially have like city hall type stuff that goes there. It's not like the actual sort of governor's mansion or where the stuff comes together, but there's a decent chunk of the local government works through here, particularly places that interact with both Niners and the national government. I'm down here at the Cornerstone. As far as we can tell, we have a number of Niner mercs that have gone in, taken over. They've got hostages in there. It's hard to tell what's happening. We've got a few of them, looks like up on the first floor, holding that down. And what we saw from the video cameras coming in, there were about 8 of them came in, and they also have a large number of, we don't know if they're explosives, but some things in some weird bags that were floating a little bit.
Sounds like a regular job for the Virtuosos. We're on it.
It's not the Gamma Squad, is it?
No. Not Gamma Squad. Gamma Squad hasn't been seen since they escaped.
Virtuosos, vindicate. Still workshopping it. That's all right. We're on our way.
It's probably be something musical, he says on the way.
Timin Tovu, Mazel Tovu, Mazel Tovu.
No,
Timin
there
Tovu.
we go. There we go. Virtuosos, tune up and roll out.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah, I think we're headed to the Cornerstone to try to scope out the sitch and deal with the problem.
Okay. When you get there, you've got it looks like a couple of the front windows have been shot out. At this point, like the glass is up on the street. You can't quite tell if any fire has been returned. But there's been a number of things in that first floor, like large marble desks and such, that have people behind them. There's also a couple like deployment shields, like some military tech that has been put down as those are coming in. You've got two of them kind of at like a choke point, making sure that people aren't arriving. The police are kind of spread out. They haven't gone in as of yet. When you get there, she just sort of turns and goes, "We were told not to have the patent squads come in because they were hoping you all could handle this a little more smoothly going in with a bunch of SWAT."
Oh, okay.
I can be very
That's probably
smooth
right.
like mud.
Smooth is our middle name. What is remind? Yeah. Just getting the description straight. Is this a multi-floor building, or like what is it? What are we looking at when we look at it?
Yeah, it's a 7-story building. It's the building itself is a like sort of fairly modern design. You got one where like you've got like these like 4 pillars on the bottom, and then it's like the first floor is a smaller, mostly glassed in sort of level that leads to like sort of the elevators and such. But then the rest of it is actually kind of wider up top. So it's almost like a very small building has a much bigger building sitting on top of it.
And we think the baddies have taken over the whole building, or they're primarily on the first floor, or we don't see exactly where everyone is yet.
Yeah, she goes, "We don't know exactly where everybody is right now. We've got 2 of them holding down the first floor. Rest of them went in and were taking stuff. Like I said, they had large packages with them that, on closer examination, were floating some on the way there. But as soon as they got in, they basically lifted them up and were pushing them straight ahead as they came in. We don't know what's in them. It doesn't seem that we're."
All right.
I wonder if that could be magnetism, telekinesis. I wonder what power is being exhibited there.
Well, we do know that one of them, we managed to get a partial scan, but not a whole lot because he happened to be downstairs talking for a bit. But the team itself, we're not sure who all they are, but Lieutenant Green is a low grade telepath, telekinetic. He's able to manipulate things that he's holding. Usually uses as weapons, but he wasn't the only one that was carrying us. We have a number of telepaths that are working. They may have something a little unusual.
Maybe I could go through grates as mud and check out situation.
Yeah, I do think we want a little more intel before we go in lasers blazing, fun as that sounds. Did they issue any demands with these hostages, or do we think they're just using them as human shields?
Well, so far they've asked for $50 million and more stuff to be discussed. My guess is if they're asking for it just feels like bullshit.
Well, glad to rely on a veteran cop's bullshit detector here. Yeah, go ahead, Gumby. Give it a go. See if you can scout out the situation.
Are you talking to me, or we have someone named Gumby?
Sorry. Yeah. You know, when they go low, we go lem. You're up.
All right. So I sort of burble down into a sentient but more muddy form.
Mm-hmm.
And I can go through like probably under doors or through airways. I don't know what would be the way in from where we are.
Yeah, I would say you managed to sort of find some. There's some cracks in the foundations and stuff you can kind of go through to get into some of those sort of tighter squeeze places that you can then pop out of.
I think if you see me like in an air grate, what you would then see are like 2 snail-like eye stalks coming out of the air grate,
Mhm.
and then just like peering around, and then retreating.
Okay, so go ahead and make yourself a roll. I'll give yourself 2 advantage and 1 disadvantage
Okay.
on those, and it looks like this is probably an anything else for you.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of, unless it's research something, but I don't know.
I think that research something is more like the studying up and such as opposed to reconnaissance.
Okay. I should get a recon card since I have this cool thing I can do, huh? Oh well. Submit and submit. So I have 2 boons and no drawbacks and a 73. So I failed the roll. Does that mean the boons are don't
You
matter?
can still use the boons for stuff even if you fail the roll, I think, right?
Yeah. Though I was going to say though is I can use the boons to actually get you, even though you failed. They're going to realize you're there, but we can use the boons to get you some information.
Okay.
Okay, and this actually is information that would probably only make sense, sort of coming from you.
Okay.
So, as you're going through, it's difficult to get because you're large, even when you're kind of brought down, kind of keeping yourself together, going through those locks and stuff or airlocks. There's bits of you may drip out a little bit here and there. They start to notice some of the stuff, and one of them is just like you hear someone go, "All right, we're tripping some of the sensors. Something's here." As you go through the air vents, you see up on the second floor, on one of the kind of the support structures for it, the device that has been created. It actually, in certain respects, seems to have a little bit to do like it recognizes it, not recognizes it. It reminds you a little bit of Thunderclap's gauntlets, just in what it seems like the general aesthetic of it. But you also do see there's a number of sigils. This thing is it's attached. It's been attached to the support, and on it, the sigils and stuff that you are seeing are all about. Unlike the kind of travel sigils that you saw earlier, these are travel between dimensions.
Oh dear.
And what it's doing is it's essentially placing the sigil on the building, and if enough of these things get placed, this looks like the kind of thing you'd use to turn this building into a gate.
Okay. First thing I do, smear mud all over sigil.
Okay.
There's one.
Well, so because there are some of those around. But at this point, since you failed that, they're aware something's going on that they haven't quite seen you yet. This is probably a good time to go to like general action phase.
Okay.
Because I know Thunderclap because your thing was alien tech, right?
That was my theory about the ambigloves.
Yeah, what you're describing, I think like the aliens had used a little bit of some magic stuff, kind of along with it.
You know, who knows what these aliens get up to?
No,
Could have been anything.
Makes for not a bad thing. So at this point, while you hear, oops, I don't need that there. Okay. The 2 down front, because better let us know what's going on, or we're going to take care of some hostages. We're getting some readings of the building.
I'm going to probably ill-advisedly send a stalk of mud down, and it forms the shape of a mouth and says, "No problem here," and then comes back up.
All right, so
Are you just trying to bluff these guards with just a mud mouth?
I mean, the golem sees no problem.
And your hope is they don't see the mouth, they just hear the voice and are like, "Oh, someone said there's no problem. I guess things are fine."
I mean, why would they look up to see mouth at air duct? Make any sense?
So these are the ones who are like on the bottom floor. They're calling it out to the police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I let them know. No need.
Yeah, there's point. We've got other Niners here. Plan B, go. Now, at this point, you realize you're all dealing with trained military professionals. At this point, and you're not sure if they have worked together, but even if they haven't, Niners who haven't kind of know how to train to get it so that they're able to sort of work off of each other's power. So at this point, things move towards action phases. The first one that would start off as Thunderclap. A couple things, there are inside there's 2 complications inside the thing itself. Every time you advance a complication towards getting rid of it, you gain a hero point. That is one way to gain hero points. There are the devices that are being set up around the building. You have the government employees themselves who have been taken hostage. You've got the minor villains, you got the minions rather, which are the crew down there, and then you have their leader, Lieutenant Green, who is also on site. So they are going to be trying to also move forward the devices.
Yeah.
And if things get bad, they might come after the employees.
I think I'm the leader, and I'm going to spend a hero point to bump up "You're a Bud Made of Mud" in the initiative track.
Mm-hmm.
And I think do we have some kind of communicator between all of us? Yeah,
we'll say
Virtuoso communicator. Yeah,
bump her up 1 or 2.
I think I'll just spend the 1 hero point to bump her up 1, or to bump your butt up 1. Does that sound good?
Yeah, and that turn order thing appeared for everybody when I hit it.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
I have a question. When the leader spends hero points to modify initiative, does that last for the whole scene?
It's because each round it's another.
Each round there's a new initiative, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And I think what that looks like in the fiction is Thunderclap saying into the communicator, well, mud's about to hit the fan, if you don't mind my saying so. Prioritize keeping the hostages safe. We're going to go in and take these guys out lickety split, all right?
This is good plan, but I feel I should mention I already hit one of the fans by accident.
Good. Then we're on track.
All right, so Thunderclap, what do you do?
Okay, so I've issued my order. I'm gonna take my action. I'm like, give me something good, as I shake the gauntlet like it's a magic 8-ball, and look at a little readout on it. 'Cause I am doing my draw a random power thing. Just give me a second. I will see what all my options are. Explorers of the Unknown Powers. Draw 1. Yeah. I have drawn the power duplication. This is extremely what I'm going to do here, I think. I see like some little like symbol on the gauntlet, implying that this is a duplication effect, right? Like maybe there's like a rough sort of blinking green stick figure, and then it like expands and you see a number of blinking green stick figures all around. I am going to spend a hero point to use that power as my action. Are you seeing the card in the roll 20 here?
Yep.
This is duplicate hanging out up on.
Oh,
up on
yeah.
Yeah, duplication. So if I'm reading this correctly, when I spend my hero point to use the power, I can also use the benefit for it. It's just that if I use a benefit that puts time tokens on it, that means that's it. That's the only time I can use the power. But I think that's not crazy to do here, because as my action, I can use this duplication to create a duplicate of myself who is statistically identical to me and that remains until the end of the scene. Add an ally initiative card face down to the initiative track for your duplicate, who takes turns moving and taking 1 action on future rounds as you direct. I share resistance and hero points with my duplicate, and if my resistance is reduced to 0, I and all my duplicates are defeated. But I'm just gonna be like, yeah, 2 thunderclaps are better than 1, as I press the button on the gauntlet and like appearing next to me is an additional Thunderclap.
Okay. Sweet. So
Do you? Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
oh yeah. So essentially, at this point, it will remain, but the power itself kind of gets put back on the bottom. But you now have this. I will make a note. Duplicate Thunderclap.
Duplicate Thunderclap, who will also be added to the initiative tracks, I guess, on future rounds, or does she slot in this round too?
Yeah. So what I can do is just this estimate. So yeah, right now there is another one. I put at the end for you.
Great.
And next time there's a card there that will then end up in the normal mix of things.
Yeah. So I raise a gauntlet. I'm like, all right, now they won't know what hit him, and the other Thunderclap is like right back at you, and we just like high five together, and we like go into our action pose.
Ta-da! Team venture. It would also make sense that as long as he is out, you're unable to use because that was from your inventor power.
Yeah, that was from inventor power.
The inspiration. Yeah, so it makes sense as long as he's out. Your inventor power, your inspiration power is essentially being used.
I don't know if so. I'm happy to play that way. I don't think that's rules as written.
Because rules is because at the end of each of your turns, or anytime you get a benefit that would add time tokens to the card. Because the thing is normally everything lasts for a single turn unless it's something that specifically mentions that.
Well,
no, you know what? You spend the hero point for it, so no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You can still use that again.
Cool.
All right, so yeah, you pop him up there, and now for you, that's using that does not count as an action, or I guess using the power does.
Yeah, I mean, I think my action is doing the power, and I guess maybe I also maybe I'm also like just moving in, like just the two of us are charging in to get ready for the fight,
Yep, and he'll be able to do something when you get a bit closer.
Yeah.
That then takes us to Magnetar.
All right. So, do I see any of those devices are they all internal inside the building?
They're all internal. Like I'm assuming. Well, yeah, you were told about it through your buddy made of mud, but not. Yes. You haven't put eyes on them yet.
Okay, I'm gonna ask. I'll ask YBM for maybe just to help. If she, if he could guide me to get to the nearest one of those devices. I don't know how if he'd be able to instruct me from the inside. Or I don't know. We don't have like sensors where we can tell wherever. We don't have like motion trackers where we can see where everyone is, like around the building. Right? Our communications aren't that sophisticated, are they?
No, but like if you wanted to ask, like, what window should I break through on the second floor to get there?
Yes.
Yeah, you could probably get that.
Sure. Yeah. But what do you? What's the best entrance vector for me here to get to those devices? I should say.
I don't know I don't know what the building looks like, so this is a.
You basically say you tell him because
yes.
you can see like what window it's not too far from.
Window across from bowling alley.
Got you. Great, thank you. I'll like fly in there and yeah, I don't think I could. Yeah, I think what I need to do is energy blast just so I don't just to hopefully to melt the glass and not create a whole bunch of shards flying around everywhere as I enter.
Yeah, we can just use that as part of your movement as you go up there and you see that you've got the your buddy made of mud. Have you reformed on the ground there yet, or?
I think I'm kind of a pillar of mud at this point. I'm like, it takes me a bit to fully rehumanize. So I'm like a pillar of mud with eye stalks and a mouth.
You were told not to look back. Yeah, so at that point, there's that thing that's sort of on the pillar right now. Do you want to do something about that?
Yeah, Can I use my magnetism to almost do like a almost kind of a MRI thing where I can at least detect whether there's machinery inside and basically what's inside of the bag? Is that a thing I can do?
Yeah, basically to disrupt it
I'm gonna see.
or to disconnect it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and maybe I should just find out what it is first because I'm afraid that if nothing else, I want to make sure there's no kind of like a self destruct if it gets tampered with.
It'll still work as advancing the complication towards getting rid of it.
Okay.
So I would go ahead and make a roll, add with it. I think two advantage because of using the magnetism to sort of check the stuff out. And also one disadvantage because it's some unusual type of stuff you haven't dealt with so much.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe perhaps some hero point spending might be in.
What's your percentage?
Well, it's the magnetism power is at 80. If that's what if I'm doing that instead of like a skill thing, and I rolled a 96.
Yeah, you can spend 2 hero points. And what that'll do is that'll raise it by 10 and then by 20, and so it will succeed. But then you also need to roll, just do a roll, but all we're looking at is to see if drawbacks. So just 2 more drawbacks, 1 for each hero point you have to spend.
Okay, so
do you have enough hero points for that, though?
I start with, do we start at our max of 3?
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's 3.
Yeah, every action scene, you start with the hero points that are printed on your page.
I've got 1. I should have 1 more. And then I will. Oh yeah, I'm rolling again, just entering in the 2 drawbacks dice, and yep, they're both good. Let's have some drawbacks.
Okay, so as you're sort of like in there checking it out, you're getting more information about it, but then there's this strange feedback that hits as it sort of strikes with a good deal of pain. Go ahead and take 20 points of damage.
Okay, and then I see I forgot to erase my damage from last time, so
that also will
that accordingly. Sure.
Each action scene, those all go back.
So where was I recording at? Where was I recording at? Well, I guess I'm at 80. Oh, there. That's where I was recording it. Okay, so 80. All right. Did I get any better sense of what's actually inside there?
Yeah, you do feel that this. Whoa, I muted myself to talk. You do feel that these are connected to several others. There's the machinery in there. Part of it like grabs onto the support structure that has been put on, and you can kind of see how to disengage those. But your head is hurting a little bit. At which point we go to Lieutenant Green. So you kind of crashed through. You hear above you like a very loud, it's like, take care of the devices, get them going. And then there's like some gunfire and the window breaks out. And then this weird thing sort of snakes underneath, like lodges itself in the ceiling, and he flips as he's flipping through. Does the flip as he's coming, and the one who's like clearly the threat right now, because there's a pillar of mud, which right now he's not necessarily picking out, would be Magnetar. So the thing whips out and just and it's almost moving like a high speed snake as it's going, because like he's actually able to do contact telekinesis with it. So he's able to move it as there's a knife at the end. As it comes forward and just kind of like pocks you in the shoulder as he comes back. So that's going to do 36 damage to you. Like, you're kidding. The high rent superheroes? Crap. And your buddy made of mud. IBM 2.
I do not like this fellow at all. He seems very rude. I'm going to splat him in the face with mud. Just pillar of mud, splat.
All right. So when you make a roll,
not just face, maybe whole body.
Okay. So as you make a roll, now one of the things that he automatically do is they're cover seekers. So as soon as he kind of hits, he's like rushing for cover. You had 1 challenge dice because of ranged, and then 2 more because of their cover seeker ability. So when you roll,
Okay.
just add 3 challenge dice.
Okay. I want to actually. I just realized I should look at my actual moves rather than just do a thing. I might have a move that helps. Oh. Well, I could have taken damage for someone if I had wanted to. To do a powerful attack, I can spend a hero point. Is that right?
No, it's not spend a hero point. It's or are
2
you
time
looking at
tokens.
super strength where you can put
Yeah.
time tokens on to make it a powerful attack?
Oh, is that a? Yeah. There's also like a hero token icon at the bottom, or no?
Yeah,
That just gives you a hero token.
Oh.
yeah, the generic powers give those to you. Yeah, what you can do is if you use that, I put 2. I can just put 2 time tokens on it, which means you can't use that power until those tokens come off. At the beginning of your turn, you remove one token.
I'm willing to give it a shot. With all the disadvantage dice, I feel like I could use some extra power, right? So let's do that. Where's the rolling thing? Here it is. And no advantage dice, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. I feel like I should get 1 for using a power stuff, but okay.
Actually, yeah. Go ahead, make another roll, but don't actually. All we'll care about is go ahead and add 1 advantage dice to it because if you're probably not expecting this thing to happen.
Okay, so 1 advantage, 3 challenges.
Well, just make it 1 advantage dice. We'll ignore everything but what the advantage die comes up.
Okay.
Okay, so in this case, you have got a 78, but this was like the super strength thing. That's a 70. You want to spend a hero point to bring that up by 10, so it hits.
Yeah.
Okay.
How
So
do I do it?
all you got to do is just remove 1 of your hero points, and then oh, Mike, did you also grab a hero point for advancing the thing? Then what you do is just make a roll and just add 1 disadvantage die to it.
I'm sorry, what was the hero point for?
For advancing the complication.
Oh, great, thank you.
Yeah, so anytime you add hero points to raise your percentage to succeed by 10, you roll 1 disadvantage dice, and the maximum amount that can be rolled disadvantage dice wise is 4. The 3 were already done, so you'd only be able to move it up by 10, which is all you need. So if you just want to make 1 roll with a disadvantage, with 1
This is what I'm doing?
yeah, then
Okay.
that's for using your hero point.
Okay. And 1 disadvantage and no advantages, right?
Correct. Yep. All right. So there is a total of 3 disadvantage. So what we'll do is have the disadvantage do this. So 1, you just did 98 points of damage to him. He has 100 total. So he is right now like is it hits and strikes? Literally all the lead came out. As it hits and strikes, like you feel something in his shoulder kind of give way a little bit. Like dude's been hurt bad, but
Oops.
you have 3 drawbacks. Yeah. So what I'm going to do on that one, I am going to pull some complications, and I'll let you know in a moment what happens there. Where are the complications? If any of these look fun. Ah, this works. The thing is part of it actually goes further out. And there's like a power station not terribly far from here, and like you threw that sucker hard enough that the part that didn't get him went through, and then and you see like some sparks. You see some sparks hit go off of it, and right now there is going to be a power problem that also that can end up in this case. What it'll probably end up doing is if you save it, you're looking at a little bit of extra bonus for reputation. If it fails, there will be probably a bit of a hit to reputation. So you now have the local power store the power source has been hit. Like the lights immediately kind of get dimmer in this area. There's lots of glass and such, so it's actually kind of fine there. But there might be some problems with some other local buildings, to include some important stuff. And the other mercs. So at this point, Thunderclap, you're down there. The two that are down there are kind of doing some firing. It's regular cover fire. They're not like kind of aiming, just trying to get people down. But inside, I'm gonna make a roll to see if they can actually advance the devices. They do. So they get one towards the device, activating for them. So they're trying to get the devices going on their end. Yes, yeah, we will. All right, that takes us back to duplicate Thunderclap.
Yeah, right. So the two Thunderclaps have run into the fray, and duplicate Thunderclap, Thunderclap quips, "You guys drew the short straw today. There's more than enough Thunderclap to go around, and she's gonna try to make an area attack against the largest section, the largest gathering of these minions. Is that legit? That's one of my dazzle power stunts is an area attack where I roll against the target and each character up close to that target.
Okay, yeah. So basically, trying to get them like up on where you can see some of them looking down over the like from the windows. You can see several of them, so you can just and try to hit a couple of them.
Yeah, and I'm doing my signature clap here. So to like basically send a more of a sonic wave that would daze and dazzle all these dudes.
All right, make your roll. Go ahead and add one disadvantage because of range, and then 2 advantage because they definitely don't have stuff to help with this.
All right. Sorry, I gotta. There's the roll button. All right, 1 advantage, 2 challenge. Back to the chat. That's a 61, comes in under 70.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's got a boon and a drawback.
Okay, so those will cancel each other out, and the powerful will reduce the squad by 2 extra minions.
Oh, I was making it an area attack.
Oh, is that the one that?
Yeah, we're not doing. I'm doing dazzle, not laser. I know I've got a lot of powers. Sorry,
yeah, but the thing is, because these are minions and minions work a little bit differently than other ones. What I'll do is I'll just make that so you're taking out a total of like 3 of the 6 of the 6 points of minions. So like there's ones of them who are up above that you saw, and you're able to just, and all of them kind of like they fall to the ground and they're just like they've been stunned. You kind of covering the eyes. The guns have fallen.
Yeah.
And that one you've basically knocked out about half the minions in a single shot.
Nice.
Okay. So at this point, let us go. Be clear. And all right. So, anybody do anything to change to move anybody around on the thing?
Let me take a look at what we got.
Why am I always like last? There's 2 games in a row that I'm like just like 3 behind everybody else.
Sorry.
I think I'm gonna hang on to the hero point rather than do the leadership again here.
All right. Magnetar.
So I've got a knife in my shoulder.
Well, it came back out because it's like on almost a long chain whip that he's able to sort of move it with his mind. So it's like Jackie Chan if physics became less important.
Was that a metal chain?
Yes.
Can I? Is he? Can I? Is he actually within line of sight right now?
He's gone back behind. I mean, you know where he's at. He's gone back behind something as he got hit, so he's hurting pretty bad.
Remember, he has
right,
2 HP left.
Right, that's right. He got the big mud wall. Well, in that case, I will. Whether or not I'm aware of that, but I feel like I would want to push through, even though I'm not in very good shape at all. But I want to like push through. I want to spend a hero point to invoke my controller ability, because I'd really like to. Or actually, I want to basically see if I can set up some kind of power surge, since this window before me is somehow connected to all the other devices.
Okay.
So, I guess I could do. Would I be able to do an energy blast? I could either do an energy blast and make it an area attack. Would be able to do that to create kind of maybe a power surge throughout the entire matrix of whatever this technological thing setup is?
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
Yeah. What you can do is do it as so. If you put the tokens on there, what I'll have you do is when you make the roll, go ahead and add 3 advantage dice to it, 1 disadvantage. The
Okay.
advantage dice
So
can
I'm just,
actually become extra successes because it needs a total of 3. You've got 1 on it right now.
Okay. Now I can do that just to get an area effect, and then could I spend one of my hero points to then invoke the controller ability?
Yeah. What's the control ability to do?
When I hit an enemy with an attack, I spend any number of hero points, and then for each hero point I spend, I add 2 challenge dice to each roll that enemy makes on the next turn.
Oh, are you using this stuff to take out the devices, or are you using them to try to attack? Because like right now, there's the other ones are kind of up above, are on the floors above you. The other minions that are left, or
Oh, right.
some of them are downstairs.
I was hoping to neutralize the devices first, because I feel that preventing this gate from opening is mission 1.
Actually, wait,
Even
what is
more,
let me
honestly, as far as I'm concerned, even more important than the hostages, because who knows what's on the other side.
you know what actually makes some sense?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to use your hero points to give them the challenge dice, you could also overload their communication system.
Sure.
So they essentially like with that energy blast you're doing to take out those, spend the hero points, so now they're like essentially like their hearing is going to get hit pretty hard.
Yeah, certainly being able to disrupt their ability to communicate and act as a unit sounds like a great thing to do. So that'll be 1 hero point.
Yep.
All right, there goes. And now,
What did I say? 3 advantage and 1 disadvantage?
That sounds right.
Okay.
So 3. Hey, look at that. All right. 13 roll with 1 boon die.
Okay, so yeah, as you start hitting, you can because of the connection, you can feel they all the feedback kind of hits all of them. So you're actually going to move it ahead 2. Give yourself 1 hero point because it's the most that you add just by advancing it in a turn. But the devices are now useless.
Excellent.
And then you spend the other hero point to hit their.
So I spent 2 hero points.
Well, I think you said the 1 to also hit to use your controller ability.
Yes.
Yeah. So that hero point that you spend hits them so that they've got the disadvantage dice.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And that takes us to Thunderclap.
Cool.
Yeah. Give me the scoop. As I look around, what seems to be the situation?
Well, you've got the 2 of them that are down below, that are in that first floor. Upstairs, you've had the several that you dropped on one of the the 4th or 5th floor. From the floor below that, Lieutenant Green had kind of done that rappel through.
Yeah.
But then you can hear some combat and such happening there. You probably just got let know that Magnetar took care of some of the stuff, the devices. You're not entirely sure if there are other people up there yet, but you've at least got the group here. There may be some still further up wherever the hostages are.
Who? So So who can I see? Sorry, can I see hostiles from where I am?
Yeah, there's definitely the two that are at the bottom that were basically guarding the entranceway up into the building.
Got it.
Those are the ones laying down some cover fire.
I see. Yeah, I'm gonna give them I'm gonna give them a little taste of their own medicine, and I will attack back with my laser generation coming out of the Omni device.
Okay.
And it probably looks like I just do like finger guns, and instead of just and I do make pew pew sounds with my mouth as I do it. I go pew pew, but also powerful lasers shoot out of the finger guns of my ambi gloves.
Okay, so so you've got 2 disadvantage dice because they're cover seekers, and 1 because of range. So go ahead and make a roll with those 3 disadvantage dice.
Okay. I will I'll make it a powerful attack then, using the power stunt to just make this a little more worthwhile, I think.
Yep. This reminds me of apparently in one of Robert Rodriguez's films where they put in digitally all of the attacks. One of the problems was Antonio Banderas kept making the sounds with his mouth. they're like you need to stop doing that. Like we're not going to hear you saying it, but your lips are definitely making.
Okay, so let me give you the scoop.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 72. This is my superpower. It's a 90. So I hit, and I made a powerful attack. So I'm adding 20 damage, or I'm reducing the squad of minions by 2 extra. However, all of the challenge dice came up drawbacks. So I've got 3 drawbacks looking at me.
Okay. What makes sense here where we're at? So yeah, that's a whole lot of that's a whole lot of drawbacks. So as you're sort of firing, the other problem that happens is you have done a massive amount of damage to that sort of first floor, and like there's the pillars and such that hold it as you like a couple of them strike those to the point where like the building is not going to collapse now, but there are probably going to be some like you wouldn't want to be in the building too much longer, if at all possible. So we're to say you did a decent amount of like some extra damage with that chunk.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, that gets us Lieutenant Green, who is he still kind of hurt, like comes across the side, tries to fire at YBM squared, but is fairly badly wounded. So actually, as he comes across and starts to fire, that will actually check.
It will actually do nothing. I am impervious to that sort of thing.
Is that one of the powers you've got?
I remember at the beginning I established it somehow, but I'm trying to remember whether it was a power or something that got.
Because the one thing it'll say like under the construct stuff and where you put like kind of puts like how do you take care of damage, the impervious thing might be from there. You still take damage. It's just resistance, invulnerability.
It's
Yeah.
it's the flavor of
the
her resistance, right? Is she toughs
Yeah.
it through, right? Or
Yep.
He toughs it through YBM squared.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not actual like immune to damage. It's just for the most part, you can get hits, sort of bounces off you. You're taking damage, but you're able to shrug off things
Yeah.
in general. So that's what that.
It also can just go
means.
through me. That's
Mhm.
the thing. It's like I'm not really solid matter. So you can shoot me, but it's just going to keep going.
Yeah, so him, the thing is, he'll do 63 points to you.
That's a lot.
On that, yeah, because like the weapon he's got is, the gun that he's got is actually fairly powerful. But as he does so with those 3, I'm going to have him take damage from that. And then he just collapses on the ground.
Humans are foolish.
Actually, I believe that
Did he
because
just take himself out with the with the kickback of his gun?
that made some sense. I'm like, yeah, if he's that one last thing, but he's so out of it, it just knocked him down and out. And I think do You succeeded against the minions, so yeah, with you did the extra damage with the powerful attack.
Me?
No, this was Thunderclap.
Yeah. I think he did.
Yep.
He looks a bit frozen at the moment.
Yeah, he does.
Sorry, I am a little frozen, but yes, I succeeded when I blasted them with my powerful lasers.
Yeah, so I think in that case, that's twice. We've taken out like all of the minions. At that point, the building kind of falls quiet. You'll all be kind of on your guard there. What you find out is you have at this point taken out all of the mercs that were there, and also all of the devices. You have up top on the top floor. You have a number of government, or by the fourth floor rather, you have a number of government hostages who they kind of grabbed guns after those guys had fallen, but were like locked themselves in a boardroom or just looking out terrified. A glass encased boardroom. What do you all do?
So is it? Does the initiative go away now, or does Duplicate Thunderclap get a kind of a thing to do here?
Yeah, actually, yeah. If actually considering a couple of the other things that are around, if Duplicate Thunderclap and your buddy made a mud wants to
your brother from another mudder.
Yeah, wants to do something because you do have those other complications that I've forgotten about. So yeah,
I mean, I think so. Like the building itself is damaged, right? Or oh, here's the thing, right? I think Thunderclap is this other Thunderclap is like, yeah, you go, girl, and like we have like a Thunderclap, fist bump to celebrate. But then Duplicate Thunderclap is looking around, and says, but you also destroyed a bunch of stuff here. Here, let me fix that up real quick, because I want to use my make a repair skill to try to stabilize something, either the building or like run over or try to get to where the power outage problem is brewing. Okay. What do other folks have a preference about which we try to have not collapse? The nearby power station or this building that we're in?
I mean, I personally am okay with this building collapsing. I'll just ooze out of it. But it seems bad for you two.
Yeah, sorry. I think for a second I thought about maybe turning my attention to stabilizing the power supply, but then I got
no worries. I'll just say my plan. Then my plan here is Duplicate Thunderclap runs over to see if she can stabilize the power, and I will kind of leave it to your bud made of mud to try to save the civilians in this building before it all goes down. Does that sound legit?
I think so. I mean, I have the ability as the tank to take other people's damage, but I think it's per person, not for a team.
We could also do a thing with just your super toughness, where like if let's say the building does collapse, you could be like, I'll use my super toughness to save. Or the thing where it all kind of comes down, and then you see you like rising up out of the rubble with all the government employees. Something like that could be done. Yeah.
All right, like that's enough. That's enough pre-planning for me.
Dome. Did that work?
Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds great. I think Duplicate Thunderclap just like runs away from all that, just focused on how am I gonna like tinker real quick with this power problem in order to mitigate the collateral damage to the city.
Okay.
Like fictionally, what does she see is the problem with the adjoining power station?
Well, you basically got like the Mwatsits has been knocked out of order. You've got the power transformer has been damaged. You've got some stuff that it's essentially taken like really hard bludgeoning damage.
Yeah,
which is not good for it.
She's saying to herself under her breath, come on people, this stuff is delicate, it's doing a job, it wasn't hurting anybody, and she like puts a like friendly hand on the side of the device, and she says, that's all right, we'll get you right as rain in a jiffy, and kind of like pulls back one of the fingers on the ambiglove, and you see like a weird little like screw type device that's kind of like changing shape as she starts like poking at things and buffing out dents and building little connectors and cancelers and all that electronic stuff that is real.
Mhm.
And I'm angling to roll make a repair from my hacker identity skills.
Okay, I would go ahead and add 1 disadvantage for the damage and 2 advantage for the transformer that you using your glove and stuff to help. So
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, I rolled under, but I got 2 boons and a drawback.
all right, so easy way
To
to do
cancel there.
is yeah, they'll 2 of them cancel. The other one can actually use to advance it 1 more, which means you can stabilize the power.
Yeah, I'll do that. Push through the repair to just like get everything stable, at least for the moment, right?
Yeah.
But like it's stable enough, and it's like, all right, that'll do.
Get the power comes back on, and anything for this last turn of the action scene your buddy Made of Mud wants to do.
I mean, I was gonna do that Groot-like dome maneuver.
Yeah, roll with super strength to protect people, right?
Yes. Although, can I not do that because I used it before?
Well, so you would have lost 1 on the. So yes, there should have been 2 on there. 1 of them would go away at the beginning. So yeah, so right now you would not be able to use strength for a roll.
But I could use, and I can't use anything to get rid of those, right? Like a different token or something.
Yeah, I don't believe you can use hero points or something to get rid of those. The other thing, I mean, you also, depending on a continuity token or one of those things, you could do something with that. If you like, maybe something you've done in the past, like a flashback. If this is what we did last time, could make that work.
Continuity token, yeah, right.
I haven't used one of those yet, so I'm not.
Yeah, essentially, you can use it to do like what might make sense here instead of a retcon might be a flashback. Like another time you've done something like this, and then we could just make it like, oh, you do the same thing. This is like a power stunt you've done before.
Okay. That works for me. So that's how I spend my continuity token?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get another one, or is that just my only one for the game?
Those are one you get 1 each session. When you do the aspiration or turmoil.
Okay.
So it's one of the other reasons you start off with those, not just to. Superhero games have a tendency to leave out the life of the characters because you're just dealing with them all together as a team, but also gives you that bonus that then you can use.
Okay, so I put that off my thing because I don't know where they go.
And then you will tell us what is the issue title and number, and what had you done in the past that would help you here.
What is our issue title and number currently?
Right now we are on Virtuosos number 3. You can also make up other ones
like a spin-off comic.
Yeah, like there was a patent.
Can I suggest an idea? Right, you could say there was like a Virtuoso Comics Presents or something, Virtuoso Comics Annual, right? Some kind of an out of the regular sequence issue that was entirely like a flashback to like how many you've been around for centuries, right? It could be you could have a flashback to like any like historical era that your bud Made of Mud was active in, and show you rescuing folks from whatever particular threat is appropriate at the time, right?
Or how hilarious would it be if you were like the old Captain America, where you had a comic book series in like the 40s or 50s or 30s.
That's what I was thinking.
That they then brought back in.
Yeah, like you could have like a horror comic back in like the 60s or 70s, and then they brought you back as a superhero.
I can go with the 30s, 40s thing, given the Jewish stuff, and say that there was a building that they were keeping a lot of Jewish people in. And as we were in the process of winning the war, they were trying to destroy all the evidence, and they were going to collapse the building on top of all of these prisoners before they could be rescued. So I made a giant dome over the prisoners, so the building collapsed sort of on top of me and fell around me, and then I demudded, and they were all just standing there. and they got rescued, and it was a very big victory. And we all danced the hora, and for whatever reason, the Americans were there to save us and were much more culturally aware than one would have expected, and they had brought some rugelach, and we all had a merry time, and it was a very good comic book. I thought it was the final issue of let's think. I'm trying to think of something that rhymes with golem and failing.
Do not pass golem. Do not collect $100.
I'll take. Let's just shorten it to do not pass golem and assume that people can. No, it doesn't rhyme. It's golem, not golem. I know that you want me to be like from Lord of the Rings, but it's golem, and also YBM squared, not just YBM. I'm not a computer knockoff.
What if the title of the thing is "You Go Golem"?
I like that as well. Maybe that's the issue name. Maybe the overall title of the comic spinoff was "Do Not Pass Golem," and then the ultimate issue was "You Go Golem." Golem saves the day, or something like that. Because it's the end of the war, right? We're saving the victims of war. So.
Okay. And what issue number would you like that to be? I'll also make a note that it's a final issue.
Yeah, it's clearly a limited run. So we'll say like issue number 6.
Number 6, final issue, and this was like 1940s?
Yeah. Late enough that Americans were on board with like, oh wait, Nazis are bad and Jews are okay.
Yeah. So like
it took
maybe
a while for us to catch on.
1944?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to have a month?
Sure. Let's make it the month of May. May is a nice month.
May, okay. It's a little detail in this game I do kind of love. So we haven't come up with there was a patent series that got to issue 20 that had one of the other characters into it. The muster-ups, there was a thing in there. And now, from 1944, Do Not Pass Golem, issue number 6, the final issue. You Go Golem, and all that stuff is now recorded.
So since that was the final issue of this series starring your bud made of mud, you might say that he was the last bud of May.
Indeed. I love it. Because
so many
April
puns.
showers, bring May flowers, and
You guys better believe I have a list of your bud made of mud puns that I am checking things off one by one.
I assume you follow Kieran Gillian on Twitter.
Yes, I do.
He loves his puns. Okay. So yeah, so you kind of like protect them all in the dome until you're able to get them all out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a little bit dangerous because the building itself is in danger of collapsing, but you're able to keep them safe in there until you're able to release them. So when you get them out, I figure if you look at we'll also look at the team reputation chart. So I think what we do here is that's on the Gauntlet game information sheet, like that third tab, the team sheets.
Okay.
So I think we can get you like a +1 with the public for saving the stuff and also bringing the thing up. And I think the government might end up being a wash between fixing the power grid, helping the people out, but then also doing some major structural damage to a building. But in general, a lot of people realize you helped save some people there, you took care of it, you got it done relatively quickly, and whatever else was going on. So you are now here in the building, like the police are going to bring some stuff in, but you've also got these devices. There are 5 of them.
Are there sigils on them?
Yes.
Ooh.
So I should probably take a look before we do anything with them.
Go ahead and make a research and add 3 advantage.
Okay.
I love the idea that this is happening while you're still domed around them. It's just like your eyes maybe appear.
Is there an undo button? Because I just drew a line by accident.
Oh, Control Z often works, but you can also
No.
highlight.
It's just in the middle of example boon applications. But anyway, all right. To me, here I am. All right. So for research something, I have an 80% skill. And then I'm gonna roll 3 advantage die.
Mhm.
All right.
And what is you have a research something skill?
Yeah, which is 80%.
Okay. So looking over these, it's what's clear fairly quickly. These things have been made recently. The whoever made them has got magical knowledge. It's not great. It seems to have been cobbled together from a bunch of different places. But the stuff they have, this looks like it's designed to essentially turn this entire building into a gate that will bring something through it. There is also kind of a low-level radiation coming from it.
Okay.
And these things, like when the power is on, there's sort of there's a radiation aspect to it that's on there that might be able to be used to identify it. But the most you can tell is it's designed to become a gate that will pull something into this world.
If all of these things were activated at once or something.
It looks like it would probably be essentially using the building as a focal point. So the thing it has, it needs to use something as a focal point so it can then pull whatever it is in. And whatever it is big enough that you need a building size thing to do.
Okay. Are any of the sigils, if it's okay for me to ask, are any of the sigils things that would make it dangerous for us to handle these?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to report everything that you just said to the team rather than just repeating it, which would be boring. So sloppy as they are, need more Torah study. We should keep these out of the enemy hands. We don't know what buildings they have. And this is very powerful magic, even if done by imbecile.
Is Magnetar able to identify the radiation in any way?
Yeah, I mean it's the kind of radiation that you get from I mean same kind of stuff you get from like nuclear energy, nuclear plant, like low level. But
I will hold on to these. I am not affected by the radiation. You look a little bit weird, huh? Not Magneto. Magneto is from movie.
That's right. Yeah, well, I probably still got a lingering migraine from the feedback I suffered through earlier. Plus, I'm bleeding at the shoulder. I guess I should probably get that tended to.
Yeah, have somebody take a look at you, man.
I have a healing move. I have a treat an injury move.
Oh, yeah, maybe some healing mud would do the trick.
I could try. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, rub some dirt on it.
It's in the moves. What do you want from me?
No, I think you should definitely do this.
Michael, is it okay if I roll for that?
Yeah, you won't actually need to on this one because you automatically each one, like basically you patch them up, it'll be okay. But each action scene, you get back all of your things. So basically, it wants a game where if you are knocked out in one scene, you're not screwed over the rest of the issue, or like the rest of the session.
I want to pitch you. Oops, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
I look like I'm frozen. You can hear
You
me.
look frozen.
Your
But
image
we
is
can hear
frozen,
your
but
audio.
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So I want to pitch a use of a continuity. Can we say that at some point, Thunderclap, in researching dimensional travel, right, which she is interested in eventually like doing by punching through the walls between dimensions. At some point in her research, she like got some sort of found some sort of fringe science or semi-arcane text that like purports to explain what dimensions are um, tangent with ours, such that we could punch through them or create a portal to them.
You went a tiny bit at the end, a tiny bit robotic, so I missed a little bit.
Yeah, let me try again. Can you hear me okay now?
Yep.
All right. So I was proposing a continuity token establishing that Thunderclap had found some text, some fringe science text or arcane dabbler text that purports to explain what dimensions are tangent to ours, such that we could reach them using advanced science or magic.
Okay.
Because the hope is to like gain some insight into where they were hoping to make a portal to,
Make a note of that. I mentioned accessible. What was the issue title and number? If you want to do year and stuff, and we'll go with the information that you have that will help illuminate that.
Yeah, this was probably like a spin-off called like Virtuosos Present Thunderclap #1. Just kind of Thunderclap is such a breakout hit in the Virtuosos series that like she like quickly got her own series that's like each it's drawn in a like slightly cartoonier style than the main Virtuoso series, but each issue has her like investigating some like bit of like weird science or crazy invention, right? But in one of those issues, it was established she found this text with a like dimensional map.
Okay. Yeah. So that was when was this published?
Do we have is there a year for the Virtuoso series itself?
I figure we can go with the current year.
All right. So if Virtuosos started coming out in 2019, then so did Virtuosos Presents Thunderclap.
Okay. Say maybe also like a September 2019.
Yeah. You know what? October 2019, slightly in the future from where we like live in the timeline right now.
Well, it's not hilarious if it's one of those that comes out like they actually would used to put comics out early so that they would keep them on the shelf longer, because it would say October, but they'd release them like late November or late September or something. So yeah, because it also makes sense from a comic line part, because they're starting to introduce magic as part of it. Yeah, here's what you've discovered. There are various types of energies of what people have theorized, and the other stuff that you can very close to Thunderclap is where it's at. That the various types of powers and energies that can possibly get through to a number of different like dimensions, but a lot of times the kind of energy is theorized to actually get you two different ones. Things that might use electricity is a high energy, like a high energy dimension where basically power is maybe brought from. One of the things is with radiation, you're probably looking at something where there is a lot of things that look like slowly, essentially decay or just like it's a plane of destruction. Is what something like this would be going for. If it's using like the general sort of nuclear radiation at low levels, according to what you saw, the power means it's that kind of stuff is trying to pull in something very destructive.
These jokers were messing around with some real dangerous stuff, I gotta say.
This is what I am telling you, yeah?
If my research is correct, they were trying to punch through to a dimensional plane of destruction and decay, which does not sound like a fun day for anyone.
No, very dangerous. I am say very dangerous. No one is listening.
Yeah, that's why I only want to punch through dimensional planes of, exciting, innovative scientific discovery.
I'm
Completely
sure you
different
have
category.
all arcane knowledge of many centuries to back this up. Yes.
I found this old map. I'll show it to you sometime.
Okay. I am sure I have never seen the like in all
right.
my years.
Captain Longstreet,
Anyway.
we good here?
Captain what?
I'm just I check in with the police captain that everything's good on
Longstreet.
her
That's
end.
right.
Yeah.
I just
And
forgot her name.
We've
Sorry.
successfully recovered all the hostages and whatnot.
Yeah, so she's gonna come forward. She's like, "Well, we're gonna see about them stabilizing the building. Hopefully, it should be okay. Question is, did you do less damage than whatever these things would have done?"
Almost definitely. They were trying to punch through to an elemental plane of entropy and destruction.
Just kind of gives you a look like that's not a thing, right?
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy.
Please, God, tell me that's not a thing.
But Thunderclap gives a rueful shrug.
At which point, Musin Kashigari approaches with she's got some people from Seni Lebedev. She's like, we understand that you've got some devices of unknown origin.
I look to Magnetar, because it's like these are his people. He should deal with them.
Right. Yeah. I'll. I'll lift them up with a magnetism ability if I can. If it. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna ask. Yeah, here it is. I won't offer to lift them up myself unless they ask me, because I still feel like I might still be getting that piercing migraine effect whenever I use when I'm using my powers here.
Okay.
And before they head off, I just quickly ask. I'm gonna ask Musin if after to let him know when they've wrapped up analyzing these devices, because he's actually I think he's gonna ask if he could bump up the I'll assume they have a regularly scheduled fine tuning, a recalibration calendar events, just for the system and to analyze the wear and tear. I'm going to ask if we can bump that up a day or so, or even tomorrow.
Kind of gives you a look. Something wrong?
I'm just getting some delayed visual feedback. I just wanted to. Well, we could talk about that later.
Even when you're not in the suit?
Well, I mean, who knows? It could just be. It could just be. It could just be ocular signal delay. But yeah.
Yeah. Can we get you in tomorrow?
Great.
That doesn't sound safe. I'm gonna get you checked out. Looking at this stuff, she's like, this appears like maybe it's some of the same tech that we found attached to the egg.
Mm.
Okay, we'll take a look. We can also get some patent teams in here to help out with making sure that the building's okay. Then they've got the rest of the people in custody and starting to get all that stuff taken care of. There's a point you've got the press and such is all around. They're coming in, swarming, wanting to get questions, but they're being kept further back right now by the police.
Mm-hmm.
What do you all do? Stay there, head back, etc.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I think at this point, Magnetar wants to head back and desuit as soon as possible, and he may perhaps catch some media attention when he opts to be driven back rather than actually fly off like he would normally.
I think Thunderclap will go and mingle with the public, because we don't have the princess here. Someone's got to do the charm offensive, and Thunderclap thinks that she's very charming.
Yeah, I am at this point sort of a pillar of mud with eye stalks, one small arm, and half a leg sticking out at some weird angle because I'm still reforming. So probably not the best for publicity. But I can kind of like glide off towards lasagna.
Just do like the Garfield, just see you're floating through the air, just on the smell, going towards it.
Like
Pretty
a cartoon.
much. Sort of a globular thing on the ground with, various limbs sticking out at odd angles as they reform.
Yep.
I'll have a head eventually.
Yeah, and then Dozer, do you you go back with the Lebedev people?
That sounds like a good plan.
Okay. Thunderclap, you've got all the people gathered around. They're all like, Thunderclap. What do you know about these people? What's happened?
These folks were bad, trying to do some bad things, and we stopped them. So no need to do another big win for the Virtuosos.
Yeah, and there's people there asking for autographs. Basically, you've got the huge group of here, like, nice to be the hero for a bit, and that sounds like... So at this point, it sounds like it might be, because I know next time I think we've got all of you as well as Rich and John. So going to the second part of maybe seeing what else was being planned with this might be a good thing to do next week.
Yeah, I think I'm very interested in following up on this because like this magic stuff is hella shady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But can I add the detail that like a kid like has basically like a big foam Hulk hand, but instead of the Hulk's hand, it's a like version of Thunderclap's ambi glove, and I like sign it in with a Sharpie.
All right, I will make a note that there are quote Hulk hand versions of Thunderclap's ambi glove.
As long as there are also mud hand gloves.
I just don't know if you're considered as merchandisable.
I'd love if you're merchandisable if you're merchandisable, there's certain people in particular who really like dig on the
like
YBM
a cultish
squares.
Following.
Maybe there's like a Play-Doh version of your Bud Made of Mud called Clay-Doh.
Ah, there we go.
That, or you can work with Gwyneth Paltrow and do some kind of like goop health mud treatment.
Oh God, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all.
If you drink this mud, it will heal all of your problems.
We do not drink the mud.
All right, we're X-carding Gwyneth Paltrow.
Best use of the X card yet.
Can we do that in life? I mean, I like her as an actress, but all the other stuff, it's like, come on.
The goop.
Oh.
The goop
I
stuff.
Mean, in some ways, the Twitter muted words function is a way to X-card things in real life. Pro tip.
Huh.
Definitely interested in getting to the bottom of this magic scheming in our future Virtuoso adventures.
Are we essentially doing wishes right now?
We can, yes.
Okay, I couldn't tell if that's what was going on or if we were just discussing.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for your Bud Made of Mud to actually use some sigils eventually. Like, not just have knowledge of all these sigils, but like have some counter sigil or really decipher them properly and be able to act on it. Because I keep sort of reading them and being able to tell people they're dangerous, but I haven't done anything specific.
That could be a cool thing to do with a like an aspiration scene. Like specifically like putting that stuff together and then using it so you can use something about it later.
Also, you should consider rolling create alchemical objects to create a sigiled object. I've
been wanting to do that, but I wasn't sure when. There are a couple of mechanics that I'm not sure when they come into play.
I think all those rolls on your identity card just happen when you say you're doing them.
Yeah.
Oh.
You'd be like, no, get ready. I've been creating this thing that can work, and we can basically use it for give you advantage or disadvantage on some stuff. It can do some certain things. We can also be like, especially if it goes towards like someone's weakness, then at that point helps out a bunch and does some other stuff. But yeah, that's one of those things you can use to create stuff, and especially looking at the sigils that you've got. You could be like, oh, I create some of this thing that could do disrupt or do whatever.
What I'd love to do with the alchemist role is if Thunderclap is going to be doing some more magical sigil-y things, I would love to be able to sort of help out in advance.
Okay.
With like an object with a sigil, but also by like, I guess I don't need to research it if I also create it. Like we can assume I've researched it.
Yep.
But I'd also love to prepare a food or a drink that I could give to Thunderclap that would make them impervious to something in another dimension, and then like write the sigil for them to go through or something.
Oh, nice.
To go through.
I think this is awesome. I love that you're looking at all these alchemist roles and being like, how can we tie that all in? Because I think that's extremely comics, right? To be like, yeah, we have an alchemist hero and a hacker hero, and together they're gonna solve dimensional travel.
Right.
I love the idea of you also having that sort of Reed Richards, but with magic, like alchemy stuff, where you're like, I've created this thing, and you can just do some cool stuff with it.
I would like that. As much as I like making myself into different forms of mud, a secondary ability would be nice. So that will be fun for me.
Yeah, it seems like the Mr. Fantastic comparisons coming more and more appropriate, especially given you have similar power sets and similar expertise in different fields. I've also been enjoying the Golem's personality of just being grumpy that no one's like really taking his centuries of mystical experience seriously.
Yeah.
I think you actually employing sigil use would be a good way to pay that off and teach us mortals a lesson.
I was hoping that it was coming across that that's a character thing and not like a real thing. But yeah, centuries of experience and everyone's just like, eh. So
just like a bunch of whippersnappers.
You are whippersnappers to me. You could be 90 years old and you'd still be a whippersnapper. So that's gonna be fun. Yay!
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds. And also, there's some stuff for, because like, this is essentially, we just did like the first half of the issue. This is where like this Dusk City Outlaws and when I did Phoenix Dawn Command are the only ones where I've gone like, hey, there's like a little module type thing that comes with it. Like, here's the issue, because it's been interesting to use to see how the system works. And here it's been kind of fun to be like, oh, we've changed things so much from the basic level that it's interesting to then go, okay, here's what alters for what we're doing. Yeah, so we're basically like halfway through. So you've got like the minions doing the stuff. Now it's like, what's going on next?
Do you have the actual hard copy of this, or is it out yet? Or
it should be out. I think they said close to Christmas, because they had some printing stuff to go through. So the actual hard copy is not out as of yet.
Okay, I'm interested in having it as sort of like in trying to introduce my D&D playing friends to more story-based stuff. But
if you want something that's available now, that is, the system is similar. It's a little simpler in a lot of ways, but it's a fantastic game. Dusk City Outlaws is by the same people.
Okay.
And it's sort of a Victorian, kind of steamy, funky, a little bit heist game.
I know people who'd be into that.
Yeah, and it's designed to be... Oh, let me actually show you something real quick, because these are cool. It's designed to be a one-shot. Like, if someone doesn't show up and you don't know what to do, you just pull the box off the shelf. You can then, like, have them pick out the characters. Let me show you something real quick.
Sorry about the allergies, everyone. I took an allergy pill, but it only does so much. Also, this hat's really hot.
Yeah.
And this lay's really itchy.
Yeah, for folks who are just listening to this as a podcast, if any of those exist, Pearl has been wearing a Hawaiian shirt and a kind of fancy Downton Abbey hat and a lei of flowers throughout the latter half
It's
of
a
this
sun
game.
hat.
It's a
It's a
sun
sun
hat,
hat
sun
for
hat,
the
Hawaiian
beach.
shirt, and a lei of flowers.
Yes.
So
That's how people know I'm not a scary golem.
with Dusk City, you literally hand them these things of here are the various like different cards, basically thieves guilds.
Is
Different
that
types.
Corvid? Sorry.
Different types of thieves guilds, and they've got like pictures of the characters. Then they go through and choose like a specialty, and so like you literally can hand them out while the GM's looking over the particular job they're doing. I don't think it's the best heist game I've played, but it's definitely in the top like.
Okay.
And it's also amazing for just getting started and getting going. Like
awesome.
We don't know what we're doing tonight. Let's do this.
Nice.
Excellent. Thank you, because I'm trying to convert people, and thus far it's hard to get people to commit to things. So
one more rec that I think is interesting as far as bringing people from one style of game into another. I think Magpie Games Zombie World has a lot of potential to be a really
Zombie
good
World?
one.
Yeah, I got to play that.
one.
That is really cool.
It's powered by the apocalypse, like a lot of Magpie stuff, but it's all card based. They've switched it so you're not rolling dice; you're drawing from decks of cards, and that's how character creation works too. So a little like these games, your character is mostly just made of some cards you've drawn. Maybe you draw 3 and pick one. I don't remember, but you set those out to set up your past and your present and your trauma as a zombie apocalypse survivor, and then you go from there. And it's also pretty. If you've got powered by the apocalypse experience, my impression is Zombie World is like pretty easy to pick up and get running, even if you're running with other folks who are new to it, because you really, most things are self-explanatory on the cards themselves. So that's a little pitch for Magpie Games on the one hand, and who's the publisher of Dusk City Outlaws and Spectaculars?
Scratchpad.
I don't think I know the publishing company, but I'll have to check them out more.
They also did Lords of Waterdeep.
Oh.
They come from board games. Well, actually,
I feel so bad. I don't know what any of the things are.
Yeah, that's just it's a board game that's sort of a basic Euro game. It's like a good starter Euro game. And
Waterdeep is a D&D setting, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's that bridge there from the D&D world.
For the Queen is another one I've heard is good because it's card based, I think.
Totally. And that one I can recommend from personal experience of just bringing it to a library board game night and showing people the decks and then getting them to play, even though they probably weren't expecting to play anything role-playing game adjacent. They thought they were only going to play.
Oh no, Alexi, come back.
Queen and all the rules are explained right on the cards themselves.
Yeah.
That is handy.
Yeah, there's been some discussion on, I can't remember if it's the Slack or the forum boards, but just talking about the usefulness of card-based role-playing games, because and one of the benefits that were discussed, if I remember correctly, is the fact that if you're a beginner to role-playing games, you don't even have to read a full rule book. You can just read the rules on your cards, and that's all you need to know.
If Phoenix,
let me tell you, when I joined the Gauntlet 5 months ago and had not discovered BBTA and everybody else just knew what was going on, there were a lot of really confusing games for me. Until I started telling GMs I didn't know what BBTA. Now obviously I'm familiar, but I was just like, hold forward?
Yeah.
I had no idea what anyone was talking about. And I was like, I just will do a thing if it's allowed. I felt really dumb. So I'm trying to avoid when I introduce people to games, doing that same thing, because while I was incredibly determined and therefore did not give up, some people might not be as determined as I was.
That's very smart and very kind of you.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think it's really important to think about how we onboard people into the hobby, and so I commend you thinking through that.
Thank you. You were one of the people who brought me in actually with Batsworm. You were very patient in explaining things to me. It was my first Masks game.
Aww.
And I am now running 2 off-Gauntlet Masks games, which are to be combined. But they don't know it yet. But yeah, so.
That's awesome. I know I'm very, very happy to hear that. That was a fun series to run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
I never got over it.
Yeah, I'm impressed because game for years, and Max does not seem like a simple game to run. So that's pretty sweet.
Oh, Alexi was like, I'm waiting for Alexi to run another Masks game. That was like the funnest thing ever. And Alexi, I didn't even tell you this. In the combined games, one of
Yes.
those combined games features Moxie, who is now a doomed character
Yep.
because of her stuff with Ozrak, and Ozrak.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And because I have to combine that game with another game, she's doomed in the first, so that by the time we're combining with the